A lot of people love their jobs, and we're happy for them and not at all jealous. But to most of us, no matter how much we like our job in theory, we have days where we just want to scream to the skies, leave everything behind, and start to travel the world with a bike. Of course, if we do that, it's only a matter of time before we start getting angry with that situation as well. Human nature at its best. Well, today, in an attempt to make you feel better about your work life, we're going to present to you the worst jobs in history. Are you ready for a terrible top 10? Let's go then. Number 1, execution cleaners. To be honest, we probably don't need to say much about this one, since from the title it's pretty clear what the job description included. But just for the sake of it, let's see how bad it could go. Long ago, the executions were actually pretty bloody business. Just imagine you could have death by small cuts, or being roasted alive in metal bulls, or having parts of your body cut off, or even your whole body cut in half. It was nothing like a needle or an electric chair. I mean, things got wild. So you can imagine what the execution cleaners had to do after each one of these mostly public executions. It wasn't only the blood, but the chunks of flesh and bones and excrement. Ugh. Number 2, a wool fuller. Now, if you don't know how wool garments were made, then you probably think this doesn't sound so terrible. But if you do, though, you're already cringing. So for the ones that don't know, the process went like this. You would do all the steps like weaving and spin and card the garment, and then you'd have to do the last step, which is to use the wool fuller in order to bleach and clean the cloth. The wool fuller would provide you with ammonium. Are you getting the picture? Ammonium can be found in urine. And no, the wool fuller wasn't the only one providing the urine. That wouldn't be so bad. The wool fuller would have to stamp on a cloth which was soaked in urine, sometimes for hours at a time. Double yikes. Number 3, a leech collector. Now, something like a stamp collector, only with leeches, and also nothing like a stamp collector. Anyway, leeches were super popular for healing in Europe, and someone had to do that dirty job of collecting those little rascals so they could be used for healing. But how does one go about that? Well, there was only one way to make sure you could get the leeches, and that was to allow them to attach to you. If you're lucky, you'd have some old farm animals do the job for you, but if not, you'd go in the dirty swamp water yourself and get the leeches latched on your legs. Then you'd wait for them to have their snack before detaching them, which you'd have to do super carefully, because if they got their teeth detached, they're useless. Ouch! Number 4, a nomenclator. Now, this is not disgusting per se, but it's disgustingly boring, so we proudly put it on the list. The nomenclator would be walking around ancient Europe and pretending to be a talking phone book, basically. Wait, what? Yeah. You follow your master around social gatherings, and whenever they'd meet someone interesting, you were the one that had to remember how to contact them and details of the small talk they had with the master. Now, you think that sounds a lot like a PA? Well, try doing that when everyone around you is drunk, and then if you don't remember the details correctly, having to face pretty severe punishment. It's just not fun. Not fun at all. Number 5, a whipping boy. Well, in the 15th and 16th century, the concept of what we now call a scapegoat came to exist. But it's not exactly what we think it is today. The scapegoat, or whipping boy as it was called back then, they were the ones who would get punished instead of the one who actually should have been punished, which was usually princes, because the kings didn't want their kids scarred. They'd have a boy growing up with them to become their best friend, and this boy would be punished every time the little prince would do something bad. The idea was that the prince would suffer because their friend was being punished more than they would suffer if it happened to them. Now, I'm not so sure how well this worked. Just put it down right here. Let's have our doubts. Number 6 is a leather tanner. Now, a lot like the wool fullers, leather tanners are very important when it came to leather making, whether it was used for clothes or whatever else. Only the tanners didn't only have the urine stench to clear off after they were done, it got even more disgusting. You see, when hunters would give the tanners the skins, they'd still not only be bloody, but still have meat and fat attached. So the work of the leather tanner would start. They'd have to soak them in water, remove the hair, soak them in urine, cut things off with a knife, and the last step is the best one though. They'd have to soak the skin in feces and water, then knead it to soften it. And this is not a 5-minute job. It could go on for hours. Wool fuller or leather tanner? Which one's the worst? Decisions. Number 7 is the body snatcher. Black markets, it's not anything new, and it's true what they say. You can find pretty much anything if you look hard enough. Even back in the 19th century, the black market bloomed by the appearance of body snatchers. Because medicine was rapidly advancing back then, medical students needed bodies to study, but they were only allowed to use executed criminals. Sadly for them, there weren't too many to choose from. Enter the body snatchers. They had the job of digging up a fresh grave and, as the name suggests, snatching the body of the newly deceased so they could be used for science. Of course, as you can imagine, the body snatchers didn't do this for science. They did it because they got a hefty sum out of it. Number 8 is a soap maker. Well, wait, why is a soap maker here? Is this a mistake? No, my friends. Being a soap maker in medieval times was not exactly a clean job. And I know that's a terrible pun. But back to the soap making process. The soap makers were more like the chemist of today, but without any protection and really disgusting ingredients to work with. In order to make soap, you use things like ash, animal fat, and lye, and you'd boil them till they solidified, and then voila! People would get clean while you, the soap maker, would be pretty dang dirty. Best case scenario. Number 9. A sin eater. Now, it's not the name of a metal band, although it could be, but it's a job that used to exist, and it wasn't something anyone would want to do today, not even as a performing art. A sin eater was a 19th century outcast, usually poor, that people called to their houses after there was a death in the family. The job of the sin eater was to eat the sins of the deceased person so they would go to hell instead of that person. Now, it might sound like something anybody who didn't particularly believe in God would do easily, but the whole process was not just to say the words. They'd have to eat and drink something that passed over the body of the deceased, which supposedly absorbed their sins. Then you could go back to nobody liking you. Only now you'd know that you are also going to hell for sins you didn't commit. Still wondering if your job's really the worst? Number 10, a medieval barber. Hey, come on now, it's a barber. What could be so bad about that, you might ask? We'll tell you straight away. You see, a barber wasn't only a barber then. He's the guy you'd go to for a lot of things, like surgery. Did we just say surgery? Yep. The barber would be your dentist, your doctor. He would apply leeches, heated cups, and then give you a haircut. I mean, why not? You're there. The problem was they didn't have any medical experience, and as you can imagine, the sterilization process wasn't exactly super clean. Well, there you have it for today. These were the top 10 worst jobs in history. Which one made you say, thank God I have my job and not this one? Let us know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, then go right ahead and subscribe to the channel with your notifications on. And if you have a bit of free time, go have a look at our previous videos, because we're sure you're going to find many top 10s you're going to love right there. We'll see you next time.